What's up, people? I am back for another video. Sorry I haven't done a video in a few days. Um, Originally was gonna review Pumpkinhead 3. I'm gonna just give a quick synopsis and thoughts because, to be fucking honest with you, I didn't really want to spend. I'm not doing that video on 4th of July, and I have another video planned a little bit later. I'm gonna try to see if I can do it like later in the afternoon. If not, I'll try to do it really late tonight. We're gonna review a movie called Uncle Sam. But right now, I am reviewing the main video today is going to be Beverly Hills Cop 4, or Axel F, which is the song. And I guess really quick before I get into Pumpkinhead 3 really quick. I mostly liked, I had, this, I'll switch. I'm going to do Pumpkinhead 3 first. I did not like it. I liked the first two. The first one was the best one, but I thought 2 was alright. 3 is terrible. 3 just... It looks terrible. They clearly had no money. I liked having Lance Henriksen back, but he's just there for visions. Like, the main character, I guess, supposed to be the main character, sees him talking to him, but it's like, it's stupid because it just feels like it's Lance Henriksen just saying a bunch of gobbledygook gibberish. It didn't feel like it was applying to anything going on in the story. It was all around bad. Actual Pumpkinhead looked terrible. There were some cool kills, but aside from that, it looked like it cost $5. Like, there's a scene where you see Pumpkinhead climbing a church, and it looked terrible. Like, it looked like a video game. Like, it was like, don't see it. I don't even know. I was going to maybe watch 4. I don't think I am now. I might just stop at 3 and only really review the first 2, so... But now to Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. I'll admit, I was very much negative going, kind of like with Bad Boys 4, going into it. Because, I'll admit, with this one, is more because of Coming to America, too. And that was a piece of shit. I didn't review it, but one of the worst Eddie Murphy movies. I always felt like Coming to America never needed a sequel anyway. So for them to do a sequel and it just be that, I was really... And I've always felt like, too, Beverly Hills Cop... One of the reasons, partially, I think 3 didn't work, I think it really only worked in the 80s. Because I actually think the 80s aesthetic added to the original 2 movies. I think that's why. Because you had that 80s, soundtrack, the 80s vibe in both films. Because I think both films came out probably 2 of the best years in the 80s. The first one in 84, second one in 87. So it's just like right prime in the 80s. And the third one came out like late night, like mid-90s. The third one, we all know why. The real reason was because Eddie apparently just got tired of the comedy characters like, Axel Foley or Coming to America. So he felt like he wanted to do some more, pseudo-serious movies like Boomerang, Harlem Nights, which are good films. But because of that, Beverly Hills Cop 3 took forever to get made. And unfortunately, and that's why when I heard a 4th one, I'm like, I don't know if I would want one in the 2000s, especially 2020s. But having seen the movie, I actually think it's pretty good, minus one element. And I knew going into it I wasn't going to fucking like it. I didn't like him having a bastard daughter. Especially he's never set up. Because, yeah, he gets with a girl in the 3rd movie, but it's never... Like, they don't have kids, none of that. They don't set that up, and then all of a sudden he has a kid now, and it's like a bastard kid plot. And it's part of the reason I hated Coming to America 2, was just, I don't like these subplots. I feel like there's only a couple of times it kind of worked. I guess I could say with Bad Boys now it worked because I actually like Armando, especially the 4th one. But I think a lot of the time it doesn't work. I just feel like you're just gonna watch a lot of the movie him try to struggle connecting with his daughter. I'm just like, I don't want to watch that. I mean, I love going to Ash vs. Evil Dead really quick. That had that problem. Season 3, there was just I like season 3, but there was just a lot of moments where Ash trying to reconnect with his estranged daughter, and it just doesn't make, for me anyway, I don't want to watch that. I want to see, that's the frustrating thing with this film. And it's not even because he has a daughter. I would have hated if she was a son. Because I don't like bastard kid plots in general. because it's a lot of the movie has to be, these characters have to try to connect. And I just find that boring. I want to see Axel be Axel. You could have easily written her out of the movie. Literally. She could have not been in it. It'd play out the same way. But I will say, I really liked everything else. Like, the opening, 15 to 20 minute sequence at the hockey arena rinks mixed with there's like a chase where he's chasing a robber in a garbage truck, and I love that they basically play both intros from the first two movies because the movie starts off they play the intro from the first one, and then later, like during the chase, they play one of the opening intros from the second one. I love that they do call back, and it didn't feel like member berries to me. I will gonna watch this one again, and we'll see if it feels more like that. But at least watching it right there, I was like, no, I didn't. It did not feel like member berries to me. The only like negative, I have a couple. Obviously, the daughter, Kevin Bacon's the bad guy. I remember being shocked. I was like, yesterday, I was like, what the fuck? Kevin Bacon's in this movie? Because I didn't know going in he was gonna be in it. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it, who actually probably one of my favorite. I don't remember his character's name, but he was pretty good. He was like an officer who's dating the daughter. We find out, whatever. The search scene is great. Kevin Bacon turns out obvious. That's what I realized. But yeah, he's gonna be the bad guy. And in my opinion, he was a weak bad guy. He had no. And I understand Beverly Hills Cop is a bit more of a comedy, so you're not gonna have like this amazing bad guy in a movie like this, because a lot of the time it's gonna be played for a joke versus they're gonna be like a serious bad guy. It's like, okay, I understand that. Like Beverly Hills Cop never had like an amazing bad guy. Even Maitland from the first one, he's good, but it's not like he's some amazing bad guy. But Maitland, even the guy from the second one, granted, I would almost say Bridget Nielsen was basically the real villain in that one, but they at least had some presence. Granted, I think both this film and the third one have a similar problem. I thought both films had a pretty weak bag. I think this Bacon's a little bit better than the villain from the third one, because the villain from the third one's really bad. But overall, this was good, though. I love the scenes with Rosewood. They still have that chemistry and Taggart. I don't like the scenes, obviously, where Axel's being ran down as a father. I'll admit, there were parts I kind of just rewind. I kind of skipped over that. I'll admit. So I'm just being honest. I didn't care for the daughter anyway, because she just no personality. You would not believe she's his daughter, because the only thing that have in common is they're both black. That's it. They don't have anything else. Like, I get it. Not every kid's gonna be like their parents. I understand that, but you gotta have something. And this is the same problem I had with Ash's daughter in Evil Dead. I'm like, I don't buy that's your fucking kid. Like, and I know some people wouldn't have liked it, but I would have rather them had Kelly from Evil Dead, the character Kelly, be his daughter. I know there's a scene he hits on her, but that would have made more sense because I actually see a little bit of Ash in her. Same thing. You should have got a woman you can be like, okay, that's Axel's daughter. Like, she should have been smooth talking like he is. Like, something. Just give him a quality. Give her a quality that's like, okay, I could buy her as his daughter. But really, I didn't want the daughter blood in general. The only way I would have been okay with it is if she was already... Okay, here's a way to make it work, because I actually like giving solutions, not just shitting on everything. They could have literally just made her his daughter, but not estranged. You just cut the estranged part out. That you bring back... So you either get either they're divorced, or you have it to where he's still with the woman from the third movie and you just get her for a scene and they have a daughter together and she's a lawyer. And that's it. She lives out in Beverly Hills and he still lives in Detroit. And I guess, Eddie, Axel's kind of arc in this movie is that he loves his job too much, basically. Like, which, I don't like that. I do like that they make Jeffrey from the first two movies, the chief, in Detroit, and they made Taggart chief in Beverly Hills. That was great. I'm like, that is like a logical progression. It made sense because fucking Rose was chief in the third one, so why not? And having Jeffrey, at least I like that he was part of it. He's not in the movie a lot. He's in like a couple of scenes, but that was good. I thought some of the music was good. There was some weird music, like a lot of the choices where I'm like, this is just some modern music because you're trying to get some. I didn't like the remix of Axel F. Stop remixing it. As much as I have my issues with the Halloween trilogy that just came out, at least the one thing, they got the music right. They played the same music. Obviously the pitch is going to be changed a little bit because it's a different composer. But it still sounds like the Halloween theme. Even the Jurassic World trilogy, for the most part, when they played that Jurassic theme, it sounded like the Jurassic theme. I felt like that was my problem with this. They should have just played regular Axel F, no remix. Or if you're gonna do that, just get Harold Fortemeyer to fucking record it. I really don't want that either, though. I'd rather you just use the classic one. But if you're gonna do that, have just Harold re-record it. He's around still. He still makes music. That's the frustrating part. But I do like everything else. Like I think Axel's funny. There's some pretty funny scenes. The scene where they rescue Rosewood was pretty funny. I love that Rosewood's just in like a fucking Guns N' Roses shirt. I love it. Like when it's Axel doing like there's a scene where they go to Surge because Surge is showing him this house, which is part of the investigation. I really do like the banter between Surge and Axel. It was fun. Even the chick who's showing him the house was pretty funny. So like I think there's mostly good stuff. I love the intro. Like the intro like sold me. I was like, okay, this might be pretty good. This is actually Axel being Axel. He joked to his partner because he's at a hockey game and obviously his partner is gonna assume he's not a hockey game. It's mainly because he thought but Axel joked around like, oh, you think it's because I'm black I can't like hockey. He guilted him into it, and then you had Axel making fun of him, almost making fun of like the white guilt and like savior mentality. I'm trying to do better. That was funny. That was like okay. That's actually pretty funny. It's just the daughter stuff is so frustrating because it's like it doesn't need to be there. You write her out of the movie. This movie is great. That's why I gave it like a 7. I think if she wasn't in, I'd probably give it an 8. I just think if she was written out, or you have it be she's his daughter but not estranged. You cut out the estranged part. Don't make him a bastard daughter. Have it be he's in her life. Like, come on, man. This whole, like, bastard dad thing is played out. I'm kind of tired of that in general. Not just bastard dad. If they did it with a mom, I'd hate it too. Can we stop? God forbid we have a family that's just normal in entertainment anymore. It always has to be estranged, bastard kid out of nowhere. Can we stop that? Like, fuck. Like, Bad Boys, at least it worked. And the thing with Bad Boys, I'll say, I'll admit, at first I didn't like it. I didn't really like Mike just having a kid out of nowhere. Like, that just felt tacked on. But it actually, the fourth one justified it. But if they do a 5, part of me doesn't think they're going to justify the daughter. I don't know. We'll see. And I just found her kind of boring. I don't buy that she would have been Axel's daughter. I feel like you get something from your parents, and I just felt like she had none of it. She should have been, like, smooth talking and, like her dad is. I think that could have worked if she was, like, smooth talking like Axel was. Like, maybe there's a scene where they're both, like, Axel's, like, good at, like, fooling people and laying on with a charm. Have a scene where they're both doing it. That would have been funny. But no, you made her just kind of boring and just vanilla. Even when the scenes where she's, like, going off on her dad, it just feels... She feels vanilla to me. There's no, like, character to her. So, like, that's why I was like, you should have just written her out, or you get somebody else to play her. That's why or you rewrite how she's written. If you're gonna have her in the movie. I mean, personally, I wouldn't have did. But if you're gonna have him have a daughter, just have it be he's already in her life, but she has a lot of qualities of him. And maybe that's what gets her in trouble being a lawyer. She's too smooth talking, sometimes to the point. Because I could see Axel, if he was a lawyer, shit talking a lawyer, like the judge. So you have a scene where she does that. Like, have it be like, okay, this is Axel's daughter. I could buy it. There's none of that in this movie. So, that's my only criticism. Kevin Bacon was just kind of there. Like, I never once felt like he had any presence as a villain. He just kind of there, and then obviously they confront him in the end. So, he ends up getting killed. Just kind of dies, and that's it. So, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F's overall pretty good. I definitely recommend it. There's going to be some scenes you might be a little about, especially the fucking hip-hop remix of Axel F song. Well, why? Why couldn't you just get Harold Fortemeyer to re-record it? But anyway, or remaster it or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into the movie. In a little bit or later tonight, I'm going to be reviewing Uncle Sam. I do want to do it on the 4th of July. It's about a killer Uncle Sam. That's all I know. Because I've seen it once, but I didn't even really watch it all the way. I watched someone review it. So it doesn't fully count as seeing. I mean, I guess it somewhat counts. Because I saw some of the movie, but I haven't seen it all the way through. So it's on Tubi. So I'm going to watch that a little bit later. Tomorrow, I'm going to do Planet of the Apes, the original. since I am back here now. So I was gonna do it last week, but I didn't have access to a TV, and I want to watch that on my nice TV. So I do now. So we're gonna watch that one tomorrow. And then this weekend, thanks to my friend Mar for finding it, she quote tweeted a screener article, one of the stupidest headlines, that the Sith is a derogatory term for Jedi now, from the Jedi now. Apparently, it's just a slur the Jedi made. So I'm going to be doing it. As much as I don't normally talk Star Wars stuff, that was just too stupid to not cover. And I had been on a little bit of a lull anyway about doing Screen Rant is Gay, so I finally have one to do. So we'll do that one on the weekend. And then also, pending on when I see Maxine, probably going to be reviewing that also on the weekend. So anyway, let's get to Beverly Hills Cop 4. Sorry about that. Movie starts. Axel and his partner in Detroit. We get a nice intro, kind of like reminiscent of the original, where they play the. Do you remember the intro song from the first Beverly Hills Cop? They played that, and he's driving around his nice car, driving around the city. The hockey rink, because he's taking it out because he theorizes there's going to be a robbery there, which happens later. Then the scene I was telling you about where Axel is fucking with his partner, who I actually liked. He was kind of cool. For the little bit we saw him. He's not really in the movie really much after the scene they arrest the guy, but it was pretty funny. You know, then Axel confronts the robbers. Robbers cause some panic. Obviously, they manage to get away. We get a scene where Axel gets in a garbage truck along with his partner, and they chase the guy on the motorcycles. One of the funniest chase scenes ever. Like, it is fucking great. Like, it really, that's why I was like, okay, this could actually be good, because I was like, Eddie still got it as Axel. He's still pretty funny. He's still, like, he feels like, I'm going to be honest, compared to the third one, I think Eddie's better than this, because, I don't know, Eddie in the third one, there were just times he felt like he was going through the motions, whereas this, he actually felt like, oh, this is Axel Foley from, like, the first two. It's not a perfect film, obviously. Like, I've said my gripes, I'm going to get to more of them, you know, but I relatively think everything with Axel specifically was great. Eddie, it was like a glove, you know, it was like Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted Face of Music. It when he played Ted again, like, it felt like a glove. Like, he, even though he had played it so long, it's just, he felt like the character. I think also he cared. I think, I'm gonna be honest, I legit think, if I'm gonna rewatch the third, I haven't watched the third one in a while, and I don't necessarily hate it. I think there are some good parts. It's just, you know, obviously no Taggart. I think they waited too long in '94. Also, I'm gonna be honest, it felt like Eddie Murphy was kind of phoning it in. I didn't like the way they killed off the original, you know, Eddie, the chief in Detroit from the first two. I didn't like how they just killed him off, kind of, and the villain was shit. It does feel like, at least for this one, he definitely tried. And that's why I think it really showed, because he was still funny, he was still witty. I was like, okay, he still got it, you know? And they stopped even the robbers, like, what the fuck? Because he basically gets, you know, he crashes in a bunch of trash, and Eddie just pushes the trash with the garbage truck. It was pretty funny. And then we have a scene with him and Jeffrey, who's now Chief, which I'm like, okay, I really like that. I think it makes logical sense, you know, versus, you know, obviously Axel being Chief himself, but it really wouldn't make sense for him to be Chief and have to still go to Beverly Hills. He's the Chief now. He'd probably have to stay. So I think it makes sense, and also give him something to do. The only thing, and this is more just now, it just hit me, I would have maybe wanted a little bit more scenes with him and Jeffrey. Jeffrey and Axel were pretty much best friends. Maybe not really much in the first one, but I would definitely say after two. You know, Maybe not really in the first one, because the first one obviously he had his actual best friend who ends up getting killed. But um, I felt like at least by two, you know. So I just felt like you could have had a little bit more scenes with him, but it's fine. I get it. He's Axel's gonna be in Beverly Hills. They could have only had so much scenes anyway. And then his daughter, I guess, there's a person she's representing gets framed for major crime, and that's why she asked for Rosewood's help, but Rosewood doesn't get kidnapped. Here's my beef with this. You could easily just write the daughter and have it just be Rosewood gets in trouble because he's investigating something. That's it. That's all it needed to be. Rosewood investigated something. He ends up getting kidnapped, but there's a scene. Maybe he gets a call, like, because there's a scene where Rosewood does call Axel and obviously mentions the daughter. You could have had a scene where Rosewood called Axel, like, I need your help. You know, this is bad, and Taggart can't do anything. You know, do something like that. You could have easily just changed a couple of little things, but relatively, it could have played out the same way. And I think that was the frustrating thing, is because I didn't need those scenes of the daughter just running down. And not just that, she was boring. I'm sorry, she was. And I didn't need a bastard kid subplot. It would have been, I'd rather just Axel return, and it just, but I would have been okay keeping the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character. I was thinking, like, the way you change that around, you just make him Taggart's son, you know, who became a cop like his father. And it mentioned Taggart did have kids. So, and they never necessarily specified the gender of the kid. So it's okay that he would have a son. And he's a cop now, and he'd be about the right age, you know. So, and there's a scene later where they take him off the case, because there's a scene where Axel and his daughter get attacked. I'm just gonna kind of jump around. Get attacked by it looked like a cartel gang that was obviously working for Bacon, who turns out as a dirty cop. Shocker. That's all it really was. They don't really go into it, really. I felt like he was just generic dirty cop. Hires hit because they were getting too close. And obviously Officer Joseph, you know, I'm just going to call him Joseph in this, shoots, and we find out, because it turns out that he is dating his daughter. He's dating Axel's daughter. And I'm going to be honest, they had no chemistry. There was a scene where they were walking around as a couple. It was a scene at the mansion, and I just didn't feel like they had any chemistry. Like I said, you could have just switched it around and had it be that he was Taggart's son, and Taggart fires him because maybe he does something a little reckless. Even if he saves people, have it be because you're too reckless. You know, maybe that could be his reputation, that he's a little reckless, or he's seen as that. I think that could have made for a better movie. We didn't need the bastard kid subplot. There was no setup that Axel had a kid. I'm assuming she would be the daughter of the girl Axel's with in the third one. That's like my only guess, but they don't mention it because I don't think they mentioned once about the mom. I don't think she mentions her mom at all. So, or if she did, I did not catch it because I didn't really see it. I was even saying, if you're gonna still have the daughter element, just don't have it be bastard. You just write that she is his daughter, but she's, you know, she sees him all the time. Maybe there's a scene where she calls him earlier in the movie. You know, I don't know, man. You didn't need the bastard element part, because I just felt like those scenes where she's just kind of running Axel down just wears down the movie for me. Like, I'm like, now if I rewatch it, I think I might just skip the scenes where she's in it. Like, I hate to say it, I don't want to do that, but it was not a needed element. I just feel that's what's frustrating, because I feel like this movie is good. Otherwise, everything else is really good. I love the music. The scene with Serge where they're at the mansion is fucking hilarious. I was not dying, but I was laughing. I was like, okay. The scene where Axel and Joseph save Rosewood was pretty funny. Like when Rosewood and Axel see each other for the first time. That was actually very well done. And obviously I like the scene in the end where it was like a callback to the first movie where Rosewood and Taggart are in a fucking talking in the car and then Axel pops in. Like, I love it. Like, those scenes are great. And it didn't feel like member. I even like the little cameo from Christopher McDonald, you know, Shooter McGavin. Like, I love that he was in this movie. He is a little cameo, literally. And I think he was playing golf. So, that's what makes it so great. Like, everything else is good. I mean, I think that's the element. That's what's frustrating. Because I just don't think it needed it. Like, it just, I think it's a hindrance. I think this movie, I would love to give higher. Because I think if she wasn't in it, I'd probably give it an 8. Like, I mostly like everything. You know? It is a decent comeback. Everything else is pretty good. I know some people feel like they're running down Axel as a character. I didn't feel that way. I felt like, aside from the dad stuff, I felt like he was still the same Axel. You know, I'll admit I didn't really like some things, but I really like this movie. You know, I'd watch it again. It's frustrating, this element. So I'm just going to jump to the end because, you know, there's a lot of just kind of hijinks, obviously, and then they confront the villain, who I just thought was boring. I like Kevin Bacon, but he just did not do anything in this movie. I didn't feel like he played anything special. They got out of the scene, if you remember, from the first one where Maitland has the girl in has a gun to her head, and both Axel and Bogomil shoot him. It's kind of basically the same thing here, except it's his daughter. Like, that's the only element I did not give a fuck about. Like, but other than that, you know, you have I'll admit, the scene in the end where the daughter's trying to connect with the father, you know, and talking about seeing him again. I was like, okay, that was good. But I just felt like if she was his daughter, like, but not estranged, maybe they had a little tiff where maybe she does get mad at him for a second. Man, it's frustrating. But overall, I really do like this movie. I love the callbacks. It did not feel like Member Berries to me. I'm gonna watch it a second time. And generally, I do watch movies with a little bit more critical eye the second time, because, you know, sometimes when you're watching a movie the first time, especially if it's really like a lot of hype moments, you might just get caught up in the hype. So you want to definitely watch something again and really determine if it's good or not. But, you know, I mostly liked everything. I just did not need that element. So I don't want to keep repeating myself. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. Like, she's the only real negative in the movie for me, minus Kevin Bacon. I think, especially because he is a good actor, I think they could have did a bit more. I get it's Beverly Hills Cop. The bad guys aren't like supposed to be these like calculating. They're gonna be a little bit bumbling. There's always supposed to be that element, but I didn't even think they had that in this. It was just, he felt like he just wasn't there. There's a lot of the film he wasn't there. There's a scene where Axel gets arrested. Obviously, they're trying to set him up, but Axel manages to escape. But yeah, like, I don't know. Everything else. I do like the scene where Joseph and Axel get in the helicopter. This is a clip I watched on Twitter. I'm like, okay, this looks pretty good. I thought that scene was pretty funny. Like I really love Eddie. Was definitely the VIP of the movie. It really felt like he actually was happy being Axel Foley again, and it did show. So that's why I mostly like it. I can get over like the daughter element, but I mostly like it. So I definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's not like you have to go to the theater and see it, you know. So I recommend checking out. It's under 2 hours. It's not too long. It doesn't even feel like 2 hours. It feels like hour and a half. It just happens to be like hour and like 57. So basically 3 minutes shy of being 2 hours. But still pretty good. It doesn't drag. I don't think there's a point where I'm like, this is dragging. Yeah, I did not feel like that. So score was all right. My soundtrack's pretty good. Minus obviously the I didn't like some of that. There was some of the Axel version. There was like one that played that actually somewhat sounded like the original. Okay, that was good. But some of the other ones I did not like. I'm like, you should have just had Harold Fornmeyer either remaster the original or you just do a re-record. You know, Cold Living Color did that with Cult of Personality like twice. So, you know, why not just do that with Axel F? Just get Axel F to do a re-record. You have him re-record Axel F, like a new one for the new movie. No. We have to just do a remix that no one wanted. Don't fuck with original themes, man. I don't want to see like a Jurassic Park movie ever have like a remixed Jurassic theme. Like, no, just have like what a lot of like Halloween, Jurassic World that I thought did well was the music was a different composer, but it still had the spirit of the original, especially the Halloween one. I'll admit the one thing about the Halloween scores for the most part, I've always felt like even in the later movies, is they never once did I feel like the theme ever changed. They didn't remix it. It was just like a different composer playing it, but it still had this basically the same sound. I'm like, you could do something like that. You could even get somebody else to score it, do the Axel F score, but keep it in the same spirit. You know, it wasn't John Williams who scored the Jurassic World trilogy movies. Same with John Carpenter. I think it was like his son. I think John helped, but it was largely, I think, really mostly his son. So, and it sounded like the original theme. Do something like that instead of like a shitty remix no one wants. I don't want to hear a hip hop remix of Axel F or like a dubstep version or a techno version. You can have that like on YouTube, but I don't want to see that in a movie, you know. But yeah, guys, I think it's good for what it is. 7 out of 10. I mean, you know. Later today, I'm gonna review Uncle Sam. Happy 4th of July, everyone, America. But I figured I do want to do A&M because I've pretty much done all the. Unfortunately, I feel like I've done all the big 4th of July movies already. Like reviewed them, like Jaws. I've already reviewed. I reviewed Independence Day like years ago. Same with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I did both movies, but the first one's a 4th of July film. I did that one already. So it's crazy. The only one I really have is Uncle Sam. I might look and see if I did the Patriot. I think I have done the Patriot. I did the Patriot when I was doing like a bunch of Mel Gibson movies. So it was just, I've done pretty much all the big ones. I might do maybe next year for 4th of July. I'll do list my favorite 4th of July movies or something. You know. Anyways, get ready to end it here. But yeah, Uncle Sam either later to. I'm gonna try to do it in a couple hours, but if not, later tonight. Anyways. Alright, guys. I'll talk to y'all later.